Hello and welcome. Today I'll be covering the ExactPath Knowledge Map and Current Learning Activities Data Visualization. These are two key reports to keeping tabs on student progress in the ExactPath Learning Path. I'll show you how to navigate them, dig into what details are available to you when you use these reports, as well as explore how you can use each one to help you plan for more data-driven instruction. As a quick reminder, ExactPath is our K-12 individualized learning solution, primarily made up of adaptive diagnostic assessments that pinpoint learning to auto-generate individualized learning paths for students that then in turn promotes academic growth. Without further ado, let's dig in. I am logged in today as a teacher since it is primarily classroom teachers that will be using these reports to keep tabs on individual student progress. But of course, it is important to recognize that administrators also have access to these data views. From my homepage, I have my available subjects across the top. Remember, ExactPath is available for math, reading, and language arts. I'm going to go ahead and select math today, which I have already done. From there, I see this learning paths header, and then both data visualizations listed below that. From either one, you can actually quickly toggle back and forth between them. But I'm going to go ahead and start today in the knowledge map. Now, as this loads, I'll tell you a little bit about it. The knowledge map shows me every skill available to my students, as well as their specific progress in the learning path. At the top here, I can select my class that I want to look at for my knowledge map today. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to this class. Now I can scroll down and I can see a few key areas that we're going to walk through together. Every single skill available in ExactPath is laid out across the top here and divided by grade level. I also can see these various colors here that represent the different learning domains that each skill is from. If I use this quick drop down here, I can get a quick sense of exactly which domains are available. I can also filter by domain if I only want to look at skills from a specific domain. Back to the skills here, though, when I click on a specific skill, I'm going to get some additional information there. I'm going to get a reminder of exactly which domain the skill is from, and I'm going to get some additional details around what does that skill mean for that specific grade level. So those are your skills across the top. Beyond the skills, we also see students down the left side. Now, all of my students have their second learning path created, as seen by this little LP2 and the little learning path icon. All except Zach here, who does not have a learning path. Zach may be a new student in my class and he hasn't had a chance to take the diagnostic yet, but I want him to get learning right away. So I'm actually going to use this button here to auto-generate a learning path for Zach. I'm going to go ahead and continue. That learning path is going to auto-generate this based on his system grade, whatever grade level I have entered him into the system. And from there, just like that, he has a learning path that he can go ahead and jump in and start using. Now, next testing window, I can go ahead and have him take that diagnostic. It's going to fine-tune that learning path a little bit better. But this is going to give him a starting point so he's not hung up and unable to use the program. Now that all of my students have learning paths, I'm ready to dig into interpreting the information I see here. I have the skill status legend here to help me at the top, and we're going to refer to that a few times today. The first color that's really jumping out at me when I look at this knowledge map and kind of scroll back and forth here is this light green with these slashes through it. That's telling me what skills students have assessed above based on their diagnostic. As I click to the right, I can also see where that green slash ends, and I start to see more and more gray tiles. Gray tiles are what skills students have not taken. In between there, that's where I start to see a lot more of these different colors. You can see a lot of different things happening here. Let's focus on some of those different colors and symbols now. Now remember, students only work on 4 skills at one time. So I've got my friend here, Rueri, who has 4 blue blocks in his learning path. These 4 blue blocks represent 4 skills that the student is currently practicing. I can click into any one of them and I can get more information. When I do, what is known as the content drawer pops up here on the bottom of my screen. So I clicked on compose and decompose numbers for Ruari, and now I'm getting a sense of exactly what the student worked on. I can see the lesson that was used to introduce the particular topic. I can see the practice that my students were using to get a feel for applying that particular skill. And I can see the mastery quiz, the short 5-question quiz that's used to check if the student understands. In addition to that, I can see some details like attempts, right? How many times did they attempt that particular piece? What day? What time? How did they score? If they've in fact scored, here the mastery quiz, the student is in progress. Also notice when I hover over any of these, I can actually preview them. So I can see this content myself, which could help for some very quick conferences with students. If I see something that's really not going particularly well, maybe a practice or a tutorial, I want to pull that student aside. I want to work with them one-on-one for a quick couple of minutes and then send them back into their learning path. I can do that using these preview options. That's a helpful little tip there. If I go ahead and close the content drawer and look at my student Uzair here, I can see some different icons happening in his learning path. I see retaking, if I look up here, and I also see mastered. After each set of 4 skills the student receives, they are given a progress check. This is a 20-question quiz that is used to confirm mastery and adapt the learning path going forward. If students score an 80% or above for each skill tested on the progress check, they can earn a trophy. So Uzair here, he's mastered 2 of these skills, which means he's earned 2 trophies. Uzair also was unsuccessful on 2 of his skills. So after his progress check, his next set of 4 skills includes 2 new skills. You can see here with the 2 blues that he's practicing on, as well as a second chance to actually retake the areas where he was unsuccessful with some alternate content to give him a second chance of learning. As students continue to work on their learning path, they might need to retake skills occasionally or receive a building block, as I can see here in Kaja's learning path, which is to say that they receive that automatic remediation from a lower grade level. That's only going to kick in if students are unsuccessful. As students do demonstrate that mastery, they can continue to accrue all of those trophies that support and motivate and really celebrate that learning and allow them to move forward. The knowledge map gives you that complete picture of how students are doing out of every skill available in the program, right? All of those K through 12 skills. I can really use this tool in a couple of key ways. If I go ahead and span over here, we're going to take a peek at 2nd grade. If I'm a 2nd grade teacher, I might be teaching addition and subtraction properties. Let's go ahead and find that particular skill. Addition and subtraction properties, perfect. I can look at this skill and I can easily see how all of my students are doing. This will give me a good sense of how I should address this skill. I might be able to ask myself questions like, should I teach this whole group? Should I teach this in a small group because many of my students don't need this skill? Do I need to plan enrichment activities or maybe review prerequisite skills with certain students? This view will help you make those decisions easily because you can see at a glance how every student is doing on a given skill. Additionally, I can click in on any skill my students are working on to get more information. Already she gave an example of that with the content drawer popping up, of course. And not only can you do that for to review attempts and things like that, but you can also go ahead and pop up those skills and you can get a sense of a few other things. So if I navigate over here to resources, I'm going to find some additional tools here. For this particular skill, I've got a ton of different videos that I can assign straight from the content drawer, some worksheets that I can access, and even some Study Island topics that I might be able to leverage if I, in fact, have access to this other Edmonton program, Study Island. So these additional resources are allowing me to view this very content, this particular content, and actually have some additional tools at my disposal. Now, if I click underneath that, I can see standard coverage. ExactPath content is aligned to all state standards and Common Core state standards. So whatever standards you use, they will in fact be reflected in your account. And here I can see this particular skill and the standards that it aligns to. Now, closely related to the knowledge map, ExactPath also offers a view of learning progress called current learning activities. If I scroll up here to the top, I can see this tab here. I can go ahead and bounce over to current activities using that tab. If I didn't want to use that tab, back where when I clicked on the subject, remember we saw those tiles for knowledge map and current activities? That's another great access point to get to this particular view. So while the knowledge map is focused on showing every skill in the learning path, the current learning activities is exactly like it sounds. Zooms in to only show you exactly what students are working on in real time. This is a great spot to be able to see exactly which skills students will encounter on their upcoming progress checks. I can see here with the little trophy and the 4 dots representing the 4 skills. That is signifying a progress check. Similar to the knowledge map, I can also drill into each skill or a previous progress check if I want to get some additional information. This view is really powerful for knowing what students are doing in real time on a single screen without having to skip around the entire learning progression. It's really a time and a place for both views. I can also use this really neat option here at the top to click on struggling. What that's going to do is it's actually going to filter my view to just show me those kiddos that are currently struggling. This is going to quickly focus my attention on those learners that are having trouble. Are they maybe moving too quickly? Are they in need of some actual assistance? With a close eye on this view, I'm not going to miss a beat. Together, these two views really empower teachers to chart progress, provide real-time assistance, and plan for data-driven instruction. Thank you for joining me for this deep dive into 2 powerful data areas of Edmentum, ExactPath